reported in several families, so this makes diagnosis easier and more effective. But then other type of data that, of course, Belén collected at that time, and were in these large tables were the clinical data of the patients. That's a lot of work, many hours and many months collecting, slowly with a lot of work collecting clinical information on different parameters and organize it in tables like the age of onset and xanthomas, diarrhea, the age at which diarrhea was present or started, did the patient have bone abnormalities or not, and so far so forth. And it went even further with a detailed neurological description of each of these patients, which Belén did. So there's a lot of data here, and workup data in tables, which is too bad that cannot be put somewhere other than in a PhD work to be combined and compared with data from other patients. Because all those large amounts of data can be used to do some summary evaluation of them, whereby we saw basically what is out there and has been reported this morning. The clinical phenotype was not different from what we know and have heard, including around 20% without any symptoms, and including a number of them without xanthomas also. About 56% had xanthomas, so it's not rare to have patients that do not have this this clinical clue. But we need additional and more modern informatic tools to be able to not only make summary of the data, but also exploit these data to make some other questions. And this comes to my last 1.5 minutes. This is work that we are doing together with this group, which is the group of María Jesús Taboada from the University of Santiago. They are physicists and informatic engineers. And so with them, we are working on developing what are called ontologies and informatic programs to ask questions like those examples there, like in how many cases here in this databases has depression been treated with tricyclic antidepressants? I want to know that. Or is this mutation generally associated with diarrhea or with hepatitis or not? So to ask these questions, we need to collaborate and pull the data in an organized way, like a registry, like a database, and that's the key step. But then we also need these tools to be able to navigate the data. And this is what we made with Jesús Taboada, and this is called an ontology, which is like a dictionary, in this case of CTX, in a way that the terms are structured and we know the relationship between these terms. These are terms that describe the clinical symptoms. And then there comes the informatic part, where we have different layers of knowledge, where we have the literature resources and we have the patient data, and the informaticians are able to develop some what we call semantic queries, and then ask and compare the data from between our database and the literature, and ask these relevant questions. Like some of the questions that have been asked here today could be asked. Like this is one example. Like what genetic variants are associated with diarrhea, and then if you have all the data there and these informatic tools, you can pick up the cases. But of course, you can do more complicated questions. And another thing, the last thing we did with her very recently, is using this CTX ontology, we were able to retrieve over 500 abstracts from the literature with case reports, and we were automatically screening those abstracts to identify potential CTX cases through the identification of the terms and the ontology. We couldn't have done this without this ontology. So this is automatic semantic query. And well, this is more or less what it looks like. It's the structure where we need the abstracts, the literature, we need our database, and we need the ontology that is built with the expert in disease and the informaticians. And that we could achieve, this is my last slide, we could achieve through the collaboration that we want to catalyze from here. And this is not the first time that we discuss about this. Actually, in 2011, we some of the experts sitting here, we put together a proposal for the European Union for a cost action which had that goal, developing a registry and a database and the tools to study it for CTX, but we were not lucky and we didn't get the funds. So we might as well try again after this meeting. And well, this was all I wanted to share with you, and thank you to my group, who is also as always behind what we do. It's not I'm just telling it here, but there are people working there on this. So thank you so much.